Hello, welcome to another session of my Not Your Average Bible Studies. My name is Allie with Amory Speaks. Today is June 22nd, Sunday, of course, 2025. Thank you for listening and being here with me. Thank you for taking time out to be with the truth and unconditional love and in presence of something greater than the self. So, as we get started here today, I'm going to be kicking off Matthew 16. We closed out session 29 with Matthew 15, obviously. So here in session 30, we will be picking it up with 16. And this is a really great couple of verses here. I think I might have spoke even last time about some of the scenes from here, confusing it with whether it had happened or not, or yet or not, excuse me. My mouth is going faster than my brain, or slower than, as we can see today. So much to do, so little time. Strike it, reverse it. The game is afoot. I feel the mechanisms at work here in this world are running at full force, and we are kind of full steam ahead with many things, and that gets my energy going sometimes. So I have to remain calm and stay present in my present moment. Which can be quite difficult, but having a wonderful sacred Sunday routine every week, spending this dedicated at least half an hour to myself in the morning after I've already done my other kind of self-care, spiritual hygiene things that I like to do, and already spent my private time with God this morning in the sun, to have an open practice that's shared with others on top of that, especially to celebrate the day of the week, but also just as a service offered freely in a space of communion with other like-minded people who care to share love and attention and light together, and listen to what someone else has to say. I really thank you for your audience, for anyone and everyone listening now and in the future. Welcome. It's much appreciated and much honored. So thank you for that. I think I was almost going to get into a little bit of my own kind of Jesus notes, things that I feel I get a little bit of responses from his teachings, integrations in my own way, how they speak to me, and how they help me in my own circumstances in life. And sometimes I get talking about those things at this time, this series of podcasts that I'm doing. And I kind of had an intention of doing that at the forefront, but I think I might actually just wait and kick it off with 16, because this chapter is really great, and maybe I'll just let it speak for itself and then see where it takes me. Perhaps I'll circle back around to the other things that I thought I'd bring up, but we'll see. Thanks for joining, and I'm going to pick it up with 16 here. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would shew them a sign from heaven. Now, I am going to just say right straight away my own sort of opinions and my own sort of perception here. And I think it personally aligns, so well with the scenarios, with the time setting, with all of what's going on in here in the scene. Such a parallel, same standing, and so I just think it's very relevant. Why do we desire signs? What is that? Right? This is something I've thought about on my own quite often, find myself even doing. And it's one thing to ask Creator, ask your ancestors, ask God the Father, ask Jesus, ask your spirit or heart or your guts to show you a sign, or ask if they may give you a sign, right? It should be, first of all, to indicate that it's almost like I like to call it a negative directionality of energy command, because it's a hierarchy. It imposes straight away a force, this sort of stance that is very downwardly focused and angular. I think when we impress upon others like that, in that kind of way, that is harmful in a way, on a certain level, on a very spiritual level. But I think the spirit layer and level is the strongest, longest, and largest of all the levels. But that means that also when we're on a tiny level, it has a much different influence and appearance and timescape than we feel, sense, and live within. But it doesn't make it any less part of everything. It's just a different part to me, And so I think when we go into conversation, asking or desiring, the intentions really matter. And they hear and sense, and He or the Father, the Creator, the infinite intelligence of the universe built around us, it hears the intentional calling first and loudest. And then over it comes the static of the thing you think you want, the reasons that you want it or don't want it, the conflictions, all of these other pile-on toppings that come. And those are what I like to think of as negative distortions, wrinkles in a negative fashion, because they are getting away from the truth. The initial first intention, response, or feeling. Conversely, if you go with that and you amplify that from the first start, that creates a rippled effect in its own effect, but it's a more positively aligned, open and free response and productivity that happens versus constraint, restraint, and control. And so I think Jesus understood this very, very much, and in fact understood that the architecture underneath the organic setting is love, and it is the positive productivity. It is service to whole and all, because all is of the Creator. The Creator created the whole. So He loves every bit of the whole just as much as every other bit and piece and portion. And to honor that in such a deep way, I think, is what his teachings are, of course, about. I think his perspective and point of view stands from this place. And so when we go into a conversation like a demanding toddler to the Father, what kind of responses do you think you're going to get? And so it seems to me like the Pharisees, the Sadducees, these, I find them inverted teachings, and I think Jesus called them hypocrites quite a bit already, and said that they have confused and distorted and inverted the old laws and the original, one truth. And so I think it's quite fair, in fact, and honest and true and loving, to the way He approaches this, the way that we choose to operate and deal with people who are acting like that. And then if we are, when we are having toddler tantrums in some kind of energetic way, whatever kind of way that the spirit manifests itself, we should be trying to listen to it and find harmonious solutions with that, in my opinion. And I think, to bring it back into showing signs and stuff, it's like I just said, you cannot demand things. in that kind of way. And so, yeah, anyways, let's let Jesus speak for himself here and go on with the verses, because I think it's just a great depiction and a great live example of this. So he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? This I just thought, wow. There's still that old sailor's rhyme that, people live by and say, and, sort of plan the weather by, and it just was so, runs so parallel, I guess, to the times today as well. It's like we still live by these same sort of gnosis points, that these sort of things are the change of the times, the change of the day, the change of the weather. Like there's certain things that will follow it, and yet we totally are blind to the society's seasons, to the empire rise and fall. It's so funny. Anyways, pick it back up with 4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. And I love that response, because it's like you've already been given all the answers. And you don't like them. You don't want them. You want us to change the truth for you, and that's just not the way that it works. You can 10 times 10 your rules as much as you want, put as many zeros into your place marker, and pigeonhole and zoom in into great microscopic views where, you think that you're creating more value or worth because you're creating deeper restrictions and instructions. But in fact, it's not changing the whole picture at all. You're still denying the truth that you're part of the whole. Anyways, let's keep going. 5. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because you have brought no bread? Yeah, this is what I talked about in the last, in session 29 as well. Do ye not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And this is quite interesting, and I brought that up in the last episode, but I didn't bring up what was sort of my initial kind of pondering and thoughts. And of course, I don't have any answers to this. This is more just like philosophical pondering. But wouldn't the disciples really be that kind of thick? No offense. I don't know. It seems quite odd and out of place to me that after such direct teachings, time spent, that's not even written down here. Of course, you can't even words and books probably couldn't express the hours and things that were conversed between them, the teachings, the things they saw, the epiphanies that they have had, and such, in his presence and living with him. So it just seems kind of counterintuitive to me, and kind of not, doesn't make sense to me as to why they would still be that dense. Are they that unwise, unintelligent? Is there, are they that stupid? No offense, I really don't want to call people stupid at any point in time. I don't even like to look back when they try to tell us that Neanderthals or cavemen or all these other kinds of things were so stupid. Or even they tried to push propaganda about indigenous peoples or Native Americans, say, in the sort of whitewashed history was offered through the 50s up through the 90s in America, to people that they were savages or of less intelligence or something. I never bought that line, and I just could never understand how that would be. I think the curious conscious mind is the gift bestowed upon man by God, and so I just don't think that fits the model. I understand there's capacity for different levels of intelligence, of course, and a capacity of conscious awareness, and that is a gradients of spectrum. But I still think that there's an allotted grain to be explored. It cannot. I don't think it can be that different. But again, that's just my kind of thing. It's my own sort of plexiglass in between the truth and lies that I feel like there's something there, but I can't point at it, and I don't really have an evidence to prove it, so to speak, either. And now it's already approaching, 20 minutes. I have a bit of, a lot of things to do today, so only a little bit of time. And the end of the chapter here is would be better read as one, I feel. So I might come back for episode 31 next Sunday and do that as a bit of an extended one and leave that here for today. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me here, listening to my own thoughts along with the scriptures read today. I hope you've enjoyed them. Feel free to leave comments or send me email if you feel called to do so. And in the meantime, if you're ever looking for anything different from me or more from me, I have Telegram and YouTube or BitChute, depending on where you're finding this. All topics, kind of introspection, spirituality, and happiness, things to help us better our lives and find our best selves, within the world that we're in. So if you're interested in metaphysical things, you could definitely check out my other playlists. I have some meditations as well if you like meditating, or my website, amariespeaks.com. It has all things about me, but also under my tools I have a bunch of third-party references and points of knowledge and different tips and things about all kinds of different topics. So if you're an eternal student like me and you like learning about other metaphysical things, and that's kind of what brought you to listening to my Bible studies, I do have quite a range of different topics over there that you could find more on. So thank you so much for your audience. Thank you for your contribution to our collective. We certainly wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you for witnessing mine, and I'll see you next time.